You've been given an opportunity to get up and give a little talk at some kind of networking event, maybe 2-minute, 5-minute, 10-minute talk, and you're saying no, despite the fact that you know all your potential clients would notice you more if you did this. Why are you saying no? Let's have a look at this reluctance. Now, look, I'm an experienced public speaker, but I'm going to reverse engineer this a bit and approach it as if I hated public speaking. See how this goes. So number one, if you're given the opportunity, say yes, because it's unlikely that they're going to make you do it right now. You're going to have some warning and ask for some time. Don't say yes to doing it tomorrow. Give yourself at least, let's say, 2 weeks maximum. Don't make it too long or you'll just procrastinate and find an excuse not to do it. So number one is say yes, give yourself time to prepare, and now you're a little bit committed, but that's a good thing. Next thing, number two, if you like, is when you're saying to yourself, I'm no good at public speaking, you need to actually maybe write that down and start doing what I call the forensics. You need to do some reframes and you need to go through things like the 5 whys exercise. Why am I no good at public speaking? And it's not that you're no good at it, really. It's that you think you're no good at it. You might not have even tried. So get forensic, get out of your head. That's a very good way to start this process. You know you've got a fear, so you need to actually think about what that fear is. And for most people, it's the fear of rejection. If you like, the fear of being a disappointment, the fear of looking stupid, the fear of being boring, the fear of not being as good as other people who you've seen do it. Okay, fear. That's it. We're humans. It's survival instinct. That'll kick in. You can't avoid that. But again, you need to put fear on the forensics table and bung it through what I call the rationality filter. Because it exists, now you have to figure out how you're going to manage that. And you need to get real. What do I mean? I'm going to be a disappointment. What do I mean? I'm going to get rejected. What do I mean? I'm no good as everybody. Just really get out of your head again. Think about this in a more real way because, and this is the next one, you are messing with your head with this fear thing because you are assuming you've got to be like everyone else. Wrong. In fact, you'll be more engaging if you're not like everyone else. You are assuming that there are certain rules around public speaking, and if you don't achieve these things, then you are no good at it. Wrong. You see what I mean? There's a whole list of things. There are assumptions that you've made. You're assuming that you're going to be boring. Well, you'll only be boring if you actually are boring. Let's come on to that one. I don't want to overload you, so we'll make this the final one. You won't be boring unless you're being boring. It's a bit like I say, you're not being a show-off unless you're showing off. You've got to just kind of reframe this a little bit. So you know what boring sounds and looks like because you've sat in front of speakers who are boring. And you are absolutely paranoid about people looking at you and feeling like you have felt when in the presence of a boring public speaker. So you've sort of let that drown your common sense about this because guess what? You don't have to be like them. And the way you avoid that is to talk about the things that you're really, let's say it, passionate about, but find the sweet spot of impact. That means for a business networking you've got to think about the things you're passionate about, think about the things they're passionate about, and maybe think about things that are really relevant to what's going on now, and then find that sweet spot. You can't just blabber on about your life story and, oh, I started my business and and I do this and I do that. Boring. What you need immediately is to almost ask a question. And I always say, if you have your detective mindset on, you get people intrigued. You find connections. You're sort of saying, do you think this? Have you noticed that? You might have experienced. A lot of people tell me those kind of things. And they are real things. Don't make them up. Work on that when you start writing out your, now I'm going to say script, but of course you're not going to actually read from a script, are you? We'll talk about that in the next video. We're just getting started with the mindset stuff in this one. Hope it's useful. Leave me a comment on anything you want to know. I've been doing this speaking malarkey for decades as an actor and as a speaker, after dinner speaker, and for my business. I really used it to help me grow, but there are a few tips and tricks and things to avoid. By the way, if you want to avoid falling into all these various traps that have us self-sabotaging our growth, then I suggest you get a copy of my book, The Mystery of the Squashed Self. It's 8 cases of 8 small business owners, and they get investigated, and there's loads of tips and exercises in here. And it's quite a fun read as well.